belly could be exposed to cameras, which will then analyze all of that communicated to Mission Control. They'll analyze whether any damage was done to those all-important heat shields on the ascent. And then they'll report back and let us know, and we'll let you know. So we'll continue to follow what's happening in space. In the meantime, here on the ground, terra firma, President-elect Obama and Senator John McCain are now set to meet face-to-face, but with campaign wounds running pretty deep. Just how much can we really expect from the formal rivals? Senator Senator McCain has been pretty quiet now about that meeting, except for when he was chased down by a Fox News crew, and they asked him this. Take a listen.
Say that I'm certainly looking forward to the meeting, and I'm pleased to be invited, and I look forward to it. Is that okay?
That's perfect.
Is that good enough?
That's perfect.
Thank you, guys. Hope you didn't have to wait too long. See ya.
Yeah, that's okay. That's good enough. That was meaningful. Joining me now is Brian Bennett, Time Magazine contributor, former Time Baghdad bureau chief. Brian, you know, I can't think of one failed nominee who returned to the Senate and really had the power to diminish or thwart the new president's agenda, from Goldwater to Humphrey, Mondale, Dole. I mean, none of them really kept much power after they lost the big job. So in truth, is Monday's meeting really just anything more than a courtesy call?
Well, Obama doesn't have anything to lose here. Here's John McCain, who has a reputation of reaching across the aisle. He's proud of that fact. And here's an opportunity where Obama can go to him and say, look, here's some issues that we actually have a lot of common ground on. Immigration reform, budget issues, things like Social Security. And maybe there are some things that, at least in a symbolic way, they can start walking together on instead of just immediately coming out of the gate and butting heads in January.
Yeah, I mean, the accusations, though, were pretty venomous. I mean, they were ugly during the campaign. Not unusual, by the way. Is there a sort of rapprochement here beyond mere window dressing? Well,
I'd say McCain threw out the first olive branch with his great concession speech. He really said that he was willing to work with the new president. I mean, sure, all concession speeches do say that. But I think that it really struck a chord with a lot of the people who are watching it, feeling like maybe this time it's going to be a little bit different. And I think we've seen a lot of indications from the transition team of Obama right now that they're going to look for ways to get points up on the board early on in January, in February, and March, the first 100 days, to try to find some issues that they can come to agreement on with the Republicans in Congress and get them passed and get them through.
You know, Lincoln famously assembled a team of rivals as his cabinet. That way he could keep track of them: Seward, Chase, Stanton, etc. In fact, that's the name of the famous book by historian Doris Kearns Goodwin. And Obama has read it. In fact, he spoke several times during the campaign affectionately about the notion of a team of rivals. Would you actually expect him to institute a modern-day team of rivals?
Well, certainly the leaks that are coming out of the transition team are that that's being seriously considered. I mean, we had a meeting between Obama and Senator Clinton just recently. Senator Clinton's name has been thrown around as Secretary of State. Obviously, that's being put out there. The problem, of course, is that if you have powerful people inside your cabinet and at some point down the line they disagree with your policy, right, what do?
They undermine you. They can, at least.
Actually, they absolutely can. You can have the whole apparatus of their department working against you, and there has to be an agreement going in between the cabinet and the president that they're going to fold. But if you have someone very powerful like Hillary Clinton and her husband, former President Bill Clinton, inside your cabinet, then it's just much more difficult for the president to make sure that it's his policies that are being executed.
Yeah. And as a footnote to this, I remember in May, Obama said, well, if it makes sense, I would consider McCain for my cabinet. I'm not sure that would ever make sense, and you're chuckling too, Brian. So
yeah, I don't think anyone's thinking that's going to happen, but it will be interesting to see if some Republicans go into the cabinet. I mean, that will be historic in recent history, and I think it would go a long ways towards easing some of the tensions that we've seen over the last several years.
Well, Clinton used a Secretary of Defense from the GOP side too, so it does happen. All right, Brian Bennett, good to see you, Time Magazine. Thanks. Julie?
Okay, if you're